Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
It's time for the Bonnie Sher Show, a whirlwind of wit, wisdom, celebrity, and the boomer life. With a little bit of this and a lot of that and so much more you don't want to miss, here's Bonnie.
And hello. And welcome to the Bonnie Sher Show. I am Bonnie Sher, your host, and I would like to thank all of you, my new friends, my old friends, for calling in, tweeting in, and tuning in. And what I would like to do first is to say thank you to Wayne Cobham, who is the composer of that super duper theme song of mine. Thank you, Wayne. Well, today, I will host and be your guide through the world of entertainment, the world of the great boomer generation, and the world of type 1 diabetes. My guests today are William V. Madison, who is a former producer at NBC News, as well as a former associate editor of Opera News. But the reason he's here talking to us today is he is the author of Madeline Kahn, Being the Music, a Life. And Darci Borreli, who is a member of the T1D community. If you have a question or a comment, you can follow the hashtag BSherRadio. That's # BSHER Radio on Twitter. Now, let's all settle in and say hello to my first guest, William V. Madison. Hello,
well, thank you, Bonnie.
Well, hello, William. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I haven't had a reception like that since the last time I took a shower.
I want to shower where you shower. Nobody ever applauds for me.
They're a good house. They're a good house.
Yeah. So let's please tell me about this wonderful, wonderful book, which I have so enjoyed reading. I have some questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, what got you interested in writing this book?
Well, there's a number of factors, but I think I felt what a lot of people feel, which is that Madeline left us too soon, and we aren't ready to let her go. We want to know more. We want to have more of a connection with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a number of points in my background that overlapped with hers, and I thought, I can tell this story, and I hope I was right.
Can you explain a little bit about those things
Well,
that brought you to the book?
I was actually at CBS News, not NBC. That's the one network I did not work at.
Oops.
I was at CBS at the same time she was at CBS during
I
her last
see.
TV show.
I see.
I did work on a Broadway musical, as she worked on a few of them. And I have a background in opera, as she also had a background. I did not realize when I started the book just how extensive her operatic background was, but that is, in fact, one of the reasons that her family thought that I would be a good person to tell this story. You know, I knew what she was interested in.
Had you met her?
I never met her, and it's interesting. I had access to her appointment books over a period of about 20 years, and we came so close to meeting. We knew some of the same people. We were almost in the same room at the same time. It was weird, actually. But now she appears to me in my dreams, so we're making up for lost time.
Well, say hi for me.
I will do that.
Okay, just Bon says hi. Let's go back to something that you just said.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that somebody felt so comfortable with you? I mean, how did you get a hold of her private writings?
Well, I had the complete cooperation of Madeline's family, so that was a big help. I even got to meet her mother in the last years of her life, which was an extraordinary experience, because her mother was probably the principal relationship of Madeline's life. Very challenging relationship between the two of them. Paula Kahn was something of a stage mother. She had her own ambitions for her own career, but unlike Madeline, she did not have the dedication to work at a career. And she was also mentally unstable, so that Madeline was responsible for her mother pretty much her entire life. And a lot of her career choices came because she needed to make money to support her mother, which is a remarkable thing. I think a lot of people can identify, single women especially, having to make a career for their families. And Madeline was one of these people who really had to do that. And so I met the mother, and she was an extraordinary character.
Well, your details and your research on this book, both phenomenal. I love also the fact that you interviewed yourself so many people who, I mean, who are a part or were a part of her life, and you're able to go in and to them, and that you had access, only says to me that you must be a wonderful interviewer. And yeah.
Well, honestly, I think people were speaking to me because of Madeline and not because of me.
Well, I don't know
As I said,
that
they felt strongly about her too, and they wanted to share her with people.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think, I mean, if somebody came to me, let's say, and wanted to talk to me about Sammy, before I really invested myself or my time, I would want to know that it was falling upon the right ears. And,
well, my ambition throughout this project was not to screw it up. So,
that's a pretty good motivator.
Yeah. I wanted to do something that was worthy of Madeline, and the fact that many of these people are still speaking to me is a great comfort to me.
Well, I guess so. Let me ask you this. Who do you think was your greatest influence? Who influenced you the most in getting into the ability of being able to interview and then write this book?
Well, there were a number of people without whom I could not have written the book. Mel Brooks, first and foremost, Peter Bogdanovich, Gene Wilder, Lily Tomlin, Carol Burnett, Hal Prince, who all these years after he directed Madeline in the Broadway musical On the 20th Century is still quite angry with her to a degree that surprised me.
Didn't let go of that, huh?
Well, that was in 1978, and he's still
It's about
upset.
time. Mm-hmm.
But so, yeah, there were quite a number of people, but I think also, her brother, her sister, her widower, were all, tremendous in giving me insight. And a couple of colleagues, Walter Willison, who was her co-star in 2x2, and Betty Aberlin, whom many of us remember, especially boomers, remember her from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Right.
She did a nightclub act with Madeline in 1965, and the two of them were on pretty much 24-hour call for me. Anytime I had a question, they would just answer. And also, I should say, Madeline's best friend, Gail Jacobs, was tremendously generous with her time.
What do you think was your biggest challenge? What kind of obstacles do you think that you were facing as you were writing this book, if any at all?
Well, the biggest challenge was that Madeline would never have allowed me to write this book while she was alive. Right. She left no paper trail. She was intensely private, and I had to dig for almost everything I got. From her childhood, the only witness really was her mother, and her mother had a convenient One view is that her lapse of memory was convenient, but certainly as she got older, she was suffering from dementia. So her mother could not answer questions, and I had to dig for such things as what was the name of the boarding school into which Madeline was placed when she was 5 years old. The other family members didn't remember how to spell the name of the school. They didn't remember what state it was in, but I found it. So there was a lot of detective work that I had to do, and all because Madeline simply did not want to share certain things about her life.
When you were dealing with the family, did anybody put up any blocks at all? Were there any absolute no-nos where they just didn't want you to go?
With the family, no, none whatsoever. And that was remarkable because, we biographers sometimes compare notes, and you don't find a family as open to questions as Madeline's family was. Even such things as, again, with this musical that Hal Prince directed, there was a long-standing rumor that Madeline dropped out of that show because she was on drugs. And the family said, find out. We never heard about this. We have no reason to believe that it's true, but, find out. And so I was given complete freedom to ask any question I wanted. And again, that doesn't happen.
Well, also because I did read the book, I know what the answer to that question is.
Well, yes.
So everybody else, I'm not telling you. You must buy the book
I certainly
if you
came to a
need
conclusion
to know.
of my own. I mean, I think there's a limit to how much we can say absolutely. But, yeah, I did come to a conclusion. So.
Do you think that she would have been somebody that you would have wanted to be friends with?
Absolutely. And that was actually one of the first things. When I began the project, I went to visit her brother, and he is kind of the archivist for Madeline and has, all of her books and papers and, whatever she has, he has. And I was going through her Hofstra University yearbook, and I thought, my God, I would have had such a crush on this girl if we had been in college at the same time. She and I had a lot of similar interests. She was fascinated with foreign films, and I ran my college film society, so, we obviously were simpatici that way. We had very similar taste in music, and she was gorgeous. I would have completely fallen for her.
I have a feeling she would have been pretty sweet on you, too. I do.
Well, thank you.
Well, I do.
Thank you.
Do you have any plans to write another book? Anybody else have your interest? Or
Well, listen,
than me.
there are a lot of possibilities out there. I am actually working on about 4 books right now.
Only 4?
Yeah.
Slow day
but
is it in Texas?
I don't want to jinx them.
No. Okay, then I won't ask. But do you promise you'll come back and talk to me again?
It would be my honor and pleasure, ma'am.
I would just love that. I would just
Okay.
love that. What I'm trying to get at here is, could you maybe share with us maybe a story from the book that would show Madeline in a light? I mean, we boomers who saw her in all of her fabulous movies, we saw one style, and clearly that was her acting. That wasn't Madeline. But is there maybe a story that you have that would give our audience an idea of who Madeline was as the woman?
Well, I can certainly give you the contrast between the woman and the actress.
I would love to
Madeline
hear that.
took her parts very, very seriously, and that's one of the things that makes them so funny. She's in these absolutely ludicrous predicaments, but her characters take them so seriously that it becomes even funnier. But the downside of that was that she sometimes didn't understand why people were laughing, and she kept saying, "Why are they laughing?" That was almost the title of the book. And the great sort of background on this is What's Up, Doc, her first feature film. Peter Bogdanovich didn't audition her. He just had a conversation with her. And he's laughing and laughing, and she's saying to him, "Why are you laughing?" Then she gets into the movie, and it was the first time that she hadn't been the pretty girl.
Mm-hmm.
She was the frumpy girl.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the crew is laughing at her hysterically. And she keeps saying, why are they laughing? Why are they laughing? She called her brother every night from California, sobbing, saying, is this really the way people see me? Am I really ugly? Am I really this awful person? Well, no. She was playing Eunice Burns, and she played her brilliantly in a way that made her a star.
Yes.
But she sometimes got so caught up. Eunice is in a terrible jam. This strange woman is taking her fiancé away from her. It's a bad story. And she was so caught up in this that she couldn't separate herself sometimes. And she wound up in therapy as a result of that movie.
Amazing. Did Barbara pay for it?
She and Barbara Streisand got along pretty well, I have to say. She was very nervous about meeting Barbara Streisand, but the two of them got along. Everybody said, there was pretty smooth sailing between them, really.
And I also found it interesting that she didn't marry until very late when she married John, who I understand from some mutual friends is really a lovely man. Do you know anything about how he's gone on since she passed away?
Well, he's doing very well, and I haven't seen him for a few months, but he showed up at the book party as a true friend. John and Madeline both were enough children of the 1960s that they never saw a need to get married until the very end. Which neither of them, I should hasten to add, neither of them thought it was going to be the end. They really thought she was going to beat the cancer that was taking her. But in addition to that background, Madeline had, her mother was married and divorced twice. Her father was married 3 times. Her stepmother was married 3 times. She basically felt that divorce was in her DNA. And because of her mother's experiences, she felt that marriage was something you do with somebody you don't really like. So she really had no interest in getting married. But then at the end, John was just extraordinary in helping Madeline through her illness. And, again, neither of them had any reason to believe she would not survive. But I think sort of in recognition of that, it was like, yeah, I can marry this guy. This is real.
So sad she was taken far, far, far too early.
Well, another thing that I experienced as I worked on the book was I got angrier and angrier. Ovarian cancer, we have made some progress in the last year or so, but for most of the time that I was writing this book, we had not made any progress since Madeline died. And since Gilda Radner, her close friend, died of the same disease. And, you extrapolate beyond that, how many wives, daughters, sisters, cousins do we have to lose before we get a grip on this really terrible disease?
Absolutely. I think one of the other issues with ovarian cancer is the need for the early diagnosis. Unfortunately, there isn't enough education so that when women start to experience these symptoms, it's not just, oh, I'm bloated today, or oh, I had too much salt yesterday. That, it's that you learn what those symptoms are, and you help the doctors by getting in as early as possible.
But it's tough. I have to tell you, when the Ovarian Cancer Research Fund, a tremendous organization who Madeline herself supported, when they told me what the warning signs are, I looked over the list. I can get them.
I know.
And I don't have ovaries. There's no way I'm going to get ovarian cancer. And most of those warning signs are things that I think most of us wouldn't even worry about. Oh, I feel a little bloated.
Well, I think maybe it's time that we do start to worry about them and do start to listen better to that.
Yeah. Well, and I think we're also, some of the advances that are being made, they are sort of getting a clearer handle on how to recognize it.
Well, let's hope so. I would obviously like to see an end to all disease. And although normally type 1 diabetes is my platform, I certainly am a great champion for all research.
Oh, yeah.
And before I let you go, could you please let our audience know how they can follow you either on a website or Twitter or whatever it is that you
Well,
all
on
do?
Facebook, we have a page for the biography.
And
it's
that
called
page is
Madeline Kahn Being the Music, A Life, I guess is the full title. Anyway, if you start putting in Madeline Kahn Being the Music, the page will come up. We try to celebrate birthdays of her colleagues and friends because it's, she would be really upset with me if the page were depressing. This is, after all, a woman who was very proud of her ability to make people laugh, even if she didn't always understand why. That was important to her. There's also a Madeline Kahn Being the Music blog on Blogspot. And there's my personal blog, billmadison.blogspot.com. And, yeah, there's a Twitter, too, but I don't use it much. I think I did tweet about this interview, but that's...
I appreciate that. Some of my best friends tweet. Oh, Bill, listen, I so appreciate you spending the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise you a great read. Please, no matter how you buy your books or where you get them, make certain that this joins your collection. It's just a wonderful way to spend your time and learn about Madeline Kahn. William, I thank you. I wish you all of the best.
Thank you very much.
You take good care, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You are listening to the Bonnie Sher Show. Join the conversation. You can follow the hashtag #BSHER Radio on Twitter. Coming up, Inside My Blue World. Plus, a shout out from the Soapbox, which is my take on who gets it right and who lets something go terribly, terribly wrong. So let's go to break now with one of my favorite tunes that sums up just how I'm feeling today. This song is by the artist Natalie Toro, and the song is Something's Coming.
Shabba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, who knows, could be a ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da, whoa, whoa. Could be. Who knows? There's something due any day. I will know right away, soon as it shows. Cannonballing out of the sky, gleaming its eye, bright as a rose. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach, under a tree. I got a feeling there's a miracle due, gonna come true, coming to me. Could it be? Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good. If I can wait, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. With a click, with a shock, phone will jingle, door will knock. Open the latch. Something's coming, don't know when, but it soon catch the moon. One-handed catch. He'll be there. Come on, something, come on in. Don't be shy, meet a gal. Pull up a chair. The air is humming, and something great is coming. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Maybe tonight. Ba-ba-da, 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 shabba-ba-da, ba-ba-da, 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 shabba-ba-da.
And welcome back to the Bonnie Sher Show. Joining me in this segment is Darci Borreli, a member of the T1D, type 1 diabetes community, that is, from right here in Southern California. Hello, Darci. Darci, you're living with type 1 diabetes. Will you
Don't
share-
remind me.
I know, and now I'm going to ask you to please share your story.
Okay, I have had diabetes, and I'm not a diabetic. I want to clear that. Just like people are not cancerix, it's diabetes, you know? So I've been living with diabetes for about 21 years. I got it when I was 7 years old, and I can't stand it. It's a pain in the neck. It really is. I have become visually impaired because of it, and I'm sorry to cry, but it makes me mad.
How long has this been going on?
With the blindness, for about 15 years. It's just, that is the biggest part in my world that's a pain. Because I'm so vivacious, I'm so, wanting to go and this and that, although I don't let it stop me. I don't let the grass grow underneath this visually impaired woman's feet at all. Diabetes, I have fought it and fought it and fought it. I have finally, one with diabetes cannot live the same and do the same thing in 5 minutes. It's going to be different. I mean, an emotion changes in your body. It changes the blood sugar level in your body, and it's like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? And again, I get angry at times. I have a right to get angry at times. It's a pain. But I have really, over the years of gaining a bit of knowledge, I have attempted to accept it instead of fight it. Everybody, and I look around and I see people who are chronically in pain and have a lot worse things going on than the diabetes. And truly, Bonnie, if I have to have something, I feel that, this is okay. Nobody likes a lot of times what they have. I look at other people and I just think, oh, thank my God that I don't have what they have, even though it is a pain and I don't have to like it. I've raised 2 kids having this. There was many times that I had low blood sugars and went into a seizure and, can't remember, can't talk. It's a very scary ordeal for people on the other side who watch somebody with diabetes have a seizure. I didn't know it can happen. About 7 years ago, I was diagnosed with a nodule on my thyroid that was atypical, which is cancerous. They wanted to remove my thyroid. I said, oh, hell no. this girl was born with everything and she's leaving with everything. So I'm very much I'm a health and wellness professional. And this is just my testimony. So please don't call Bonnie and tell her, memer, memer, memer.
You can call me. I just won't listen. No.
Right on. So I do a lot of nutrition, and I work out every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out for 2 hours. And
Isn't that when I'm first going to sleep, guys?
probably so.
It is.
Yeah. Well, I'll call you up and say, hey, Bonnie,
good.
what's up, girlfriend? So, but it's, again, I do not like to see people with diabetes think that, they shouldn't take care of themselves, because you can lose your feet, you can lose your eyes, kidneys, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? With this disease, it is too easy. It really is, to be honest with you, if you embrace it and accept it and not fight it, because then that goes for anything. You just go with the flow. It's too easy to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't like it. I know you don't like it. I don't have to like it. It's a real pain. I mean, it can cause heart attacks. It can cause so much stuff. Although, and our sister Mary Tyler Moore, she's had diabetes for years and years, and she even has had problems with her eyes and everything else, but she hasn't gone visually impaired. So I can't express enough to people who have diabetes, get out of your denial, face it. Face it and work with it, because what I've been told is that if this is a good disease to have now in this day and age. I know you're on a pump, I'm on an insulin pump, and that has made my life a lot better. I work with a machine now when I test my blood sugar that I just calculate my my glucose amounts, and it does all the figuring for me. I don't even have to think. It's like, oh, thank you, because I'm not smart enough to do that.
Somehow I'm not really buying that. Sorry. Sorry. You had me going there, girl, but no, not on that one. Okay. Everything you say, I totally can relate to.
Absolutely.
I did have the heart issue. Walked along John T. Jolly and had a heart attack on stage, and they found it 6 months later, and I had a quadruple bypass.
Oh, my gosh.
But I said, oh, that couldn't happen to me. They're
Right.
talking about the other diabetics, not the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes doesn't know from the kid. It just, it does what it does. What I'd
Exactly.
like to do now, if you wouldn't mind, is I'd like to go inside my blue world and listen to some headlines which are making news around the globe and across the net. So let's take a listen to this. Okay?
Sounds great.
And welcome to the My T1 Group podcast, Inside My Blue World. I am your host and Type 1 Diabetes Crusader, Bonnie Sher. This is my weekly share. 5 headlines from around the globe and across the net. Some will pique your interest, inspire, or frankly tick you off. But all are topics for discussion with our diabetes care team and the T1D community. You can find the links on my blog at bonnieshare.com. This week, the list starts and ends with headlines focused on a cure. My first headline share is one that may very well tick you off. Simply called Diabetes Free, it promotes a program which claims to cure diabetes for a price. It is making the rounds across the internet. The information is mostly what we call sponsored content. It's a sales tactic. I urge you to talk to your physician before investing in any online medical offers. My second share is from Diabetic Lifestyle. When your memory and blood glucose begin to slip. And silly me, I thought it was just age. My number 3 share is from the Healthy Life Centers. Hypnotherapy for neuropathic pain. If you have pain in your feet and lower extremities, hypnosis may be a complement to medication. The next headline share is from Diatribe. Expand your knowledge of DME, diabetic macular edema. This is a condition where high glucose levels can cause leakage and swelling in a part of the eye, which is responsible for sharp and detailed vision. My last headline share for the week is from the Daily Telegraph in England, which reads, Cure for type 1 diabetes imminent after Harvard stem cell breakthrough. This is big news, but whether or not it happens in my lifetime remains to be seen. This is my weekly share. For the links to these headlines and articles, visit my blog at bonniesher.com. Until we connect again, may your A1Cs be low and your resilience remain high. Okay, well, imminent is a great word here.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly what does imminent mean? Is it imminent before the next ice age?
Right, exactly.
I've been a diabetic now for 48 years, and one day, being very bored, I sat down with my calculator and I figured out how many days have I been a type 1. And because it's an equal number to how many days I've been hearing about the cure.
Okay.
I'm well over 17,000. Yeah.
Right.
So although I really, really, really dream of a time where at least my to tell you the truth, I could handle the rest of it. I really could.
Yeah. I get you.
If there was just a way to combat the complications.
Yes.
And
No matter how well you take care of yourself.
Because
Exactly.
either
Right.
some
Right.
people get them, some people don't.
You're right.
And it's complicated.
And it's frustrating.
It's terribly frustrating. So much for anything imminent. Although I think the stem cell that one.
I gotcha.
Research. I'm so glad you're here. Is going to ultimately be
I agree.
The way that we go. But to tell you the truth, I don't care which one works.
Yeah.
Okay? I have no problem. And when I hear one faction arguing with the other, well, my dog's better than your dog. No. I'll take any dog.
And you know what? That goes on the same realm, I feel, of every body, even identical twins, are made up differently. So
Absolutely.
what works for one is not going to work for the other. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Definitely.
Now, they were, in my weekly share, we do talk about macular edema. My understanding with most of us with long-term diabetes is that we either get large vessel disease or we get small vessel disease. What's going on in your eyes, that's small vessel, as opposed to my heart, the aorta,
Okay.
having these vessels replumbed. So that's more large vessel disease. But I know that I do go to have the retinas checked once a year. And apparently there are some microaneurysms in the peripheral vision, but I've never needed to be lasered yet, nor have I had any of the injections of the, what are they using now? Starts with an L. I don't remember the name. Are they injecting you as well?
No, mine has completely. I had all of the lasers. I had 2 vitrectomies in both of the eyes, and that's where they pop out the eye and they take out the vitreous fluid and do all that. And so no, I know that also I was told, and I was unaware of the larger expanding vessels. I know that the narrowing of the blood vessels is, like even in the kidneys, even in the feet, even, all of that. But again, it's A1C, 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 and keeping it at that level is really the key. But again, it's
okay.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
And in a perfect world, for a perfect diabetic, that would be perfect.
Right. But there's
however,
yeah.
Recently I've developed another complication, which is gastroparesis, also known as gastroparesis, and also known as delayed gastric emptying. So my food, it's all due to the vagus nerve. And it's part of the autonomic nervous system, so that the nerves that would crunch, crunch, crunch the food aren't doing that anymore. So I'm still taking insulin at the same time, although my food is not digesting for like 16 to 18 hours. So the idea of a good A1C for me now is sort of, it's just not going to happen. So I think it's important for us to add in, we do the best that we can. And like you started out saying, with no guilt, nobody that I know of has asked for this.
That's right.
And but I also have noticed that we type 1s are remarkably resilient. And we also have a sense of humor. Maybe God thought that would make it easier for us if we could at least smile about it. Because
you have to. We'd be crying all the time. I mean, we'd be crying a river down the tears, I mean, but I'm going to tell you what. I do know for a fact, Bonnie, that their beauty is so bountiful and so amazing in flaws. I mean, if you really look at it and embrace it. And it's just, I'm sorry to hear that, like what you're doing or with what you're having, and it's so dadgum frustrating. And like you said, even with the A1Cs being like that, it's like, really? Are you kidding me? I'm serious. It's like, okay, so yeah, that's frustrating.
I guess the takeaway is you can't beat yourself up. Your diabetes is doing enough of that.
Thank you.
So don't do it to yourself.
Right.
Darci, thank you. I'm just thrilled and delighted that you are here with me today. Are you a Facebook gal?
Yes.
So people can reach you on Facebook if they want to? Great.
Darci Borreli.
Spell your last name for our listeners, please.
B as in boy, Orelli. It's not Italian, it's Irish. No, I'm just kidding.
That's joking. Right what it says here in my script, too.
See? Yeah. But Bonnie, I want to get on your crusade, and I do motivational speak as well, and I would like to be a real big advocate alongside with you, because I think you're amazing.
I would absolutely love that. I think
awesome.
You're pretty. Come here, give me that hand of yours. Yeah. I think you're pretty amazing too. If any of my fellow type 1s would like to be a co-host, it's very simple. All you have to do is drop me a line at bonnie@bonniesher.com. It's just as simple as that. And I do hate to end this segment now, Darci, but it is time for my soapbox.
Awesome.
I'm getting a note, ladies and gentlemen. Do I still have 5 minutes to talk to Darci? Somebody's saying yes, somebody's saying no. I have 5 minutes till I wrap up. Oh, that's easy. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do with the 5 minutes till I wrap up. First thing I'm going to do is I would like to give a shout out to Donna Meads Barlow. Donna is the managing director at the Danny Meads Barlow Foundation of Australia. And I'd like to shout out to her for her tireless efforts in bringing awareness to the horror of dead-in-bed syndrome due to hypoglycemia and the need for the funding of continuous glucose monitors. So, thank you, Donna. From here in the United States, thank you. And now for my shout down. Shame on you, Kevin Richardson. Who's Kevin Richardson, you might ask? As did I. Kevin Richardson claims to be the founder of a company called NutrioO2.com. And he has been circulating an email claiming, and I quote, "The cure has not only been found, it was found over a decade ago. It even works for type 1 diabetics. And for diabetics with type 2, it cures them in 14 days.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think so. Now, if you have an opinion, please visit my blog at bonniesher.com backslash, it's always hard to say that, backslash blog. And you can sound off too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's my show for today. I hope you'll return next week for another 50-minute trip through the land of Bonnie, boomers, and the T1D community. Until then, please visit bonniesher.com, follow the number 1 Bonnie Sher on Twitter, and like the Bonnie Sings Lena fanbook Facebook page. Facebook fan page like that. I again want to thank today's guests and thank you for sharing the ride with me. And a note of thanks to Corey Bone of Crown and Anchor Jewelry for outfitting me with these outrageous statement earrings. These are triple-stranded, hand-wired, wrapped, AAA grade red spinel. With gold rings and hammered gold solid rings on the end of each strand, hanging from a solid gold hook. Thank you, Corey. And this is all in exchange for this promotional consideration. You can visit Corey's business online on Etsy or on Facebook. For my friends, new and old, you are no doubt aware of the special role that the late Sammy Davis Jr. played in my life. He was my mentor and my friend, and if by chance there are speakers in heaven at the pearly gates, then this one's for you, Sammy. Take us out.
Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me, I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, not merely survive. And I won't give up this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta be me, I gotta be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. That faraway prize, a world of success, is waiting for me if I settle down, won't settle for less. As long as there's a chance that I can have it all, I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free. I've gotta be free. Daring to try to do it or die. I've gotta be me. I'll go it alone. That's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else